Hello out there in tax land. People that are looking to become an enrolled agent, people that are enrolled agents. This is all about the IRS enrolled agent program. And I am wearing black today, folks, obviously, because I am mourning. I am in mourning of the imminent loss of the old IRS. The old IRS is soon to be forgotten, dead. Put a fork in it. It's over. It hasn't worked. It's been obvious. And today, what I'm looking for, folks, is the IRS has a 10-year business plan. Believe it or not. Okay, that's how bad things have gotten in IRS land. But before I go there, let's let's do some house cleaning. If you're watching live, please give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And the reason for that is there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it makes me feel good. I like to know that people are actually watching. That's the most important thing. Secondly, is when you comment on the live, you're in the feed, which means if you have a question, if somebody else has a question, you actually get notified because there's a response and you're a part of that conversation. So I'm coming to you live from downtown Levittown, Long Island, New York, and we are going to talk about the 5 strategies that the IRS is going to be implementing. And I might have to stop to find the actual publication here. But the truth is that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, based on my 40 years of experience working with thousands of business owners and individuals over directly working with them and actually being part of probably tens of thousands of returns all over the years. Indirectly, I had my hands in it either by reviewing it, preparing it. Uh, so that's a pretty substantial amount of time that I've had to go through decades, folks, of cycles where, when I first came into accounting, it was the big bad mean IRS, and they were going after grandmothers and priests. And 1986, I'll never forget it. Congress had hearings, and it was all over the world where grandmothers and like I said, priests talked about IRS atrocities. You hear about these war atrocities, however you want to say it, atrocities. Either way, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So my first taste of accounting. Hey, Marianne, how are you? Good morning in the Philippines. Yes, it's very early there. I don't get it. You're up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 p.m., 12 p.m. I don't know. I don't think you sleep, Marianne. So thanks for supporting me. Uh, yeah, it's been a journey. So like I said, 1986, Ronald Reagan is president. Everything. He's going to overhaul the whole IRS. And they made it public how bad the IRS was. I mean, they were levying people's accounts. And the truth is, it's no different than it is today. Okay. It's not. And what happened, but let's go back to the way it was, what happened, and the way it is now. So if you were and it didn't even have to do with businesses, it was anybody, an individual, a business owner, an S corp, who, if you were in the IRS system, we were taught to be afraid, be very afraid, like the boogeyman. Okay, that's what I got. My first experience was, oh my god, This is how does our government treat people like this? What why do they do this? I thought, my idea about business was you go out, you find something you want to do, something you're good at, you make money. I had no idea that the system was pounding on people. If I had known that going in, I don't know if I would have been a CPA. I don't, because it was a war zone, literally. So we go in there, there's all these, and so there's a public uproar. What do? They have to overhaul the IRS. Now this was 1986. They said the IRS has to be dealt with. Does it sound a little familiar? Does it sound so? History repeats itself, folks. So what did they do? They went into this overhaul where they became the kinder, gentler government agency. So instead of being harassed and abused, they became the nice guys. You call up, they picked up the phone. You got people, oh, how can I help you? They became customer oriented. Okay, believe it or not, the IRS. So the truth is, it was all a public relations campaign. Nothing underneath really changed. There was still the ruthless, terrible organization. And let me change directions here, because the truth is, the people that work at the IRS aren't ruthless. They're not after people. It's the system. It's the system. It's big government. Okay, it's the machine. That's right. I used to call it the machine. Okay, and you go into the machine, and it's like going into a paper shredder. Okay, so the IRS says, "Oh, we're going to be kinder and gentler," and they put all these people in the front lines to answer the phone, do this, blah blah blah, and it was good. It was good for a long time. As far as if you wanted to get a problem resolved, okay? Over the decades, and I can go into details and dates, but it doesn't matter. They go up, they go down, they go up, and the truth is, it usually depends on what political party is in power. Okay, that's the truth. So you could basically gauge, are they going to be friendly? Are they going to be nasty? Friendly, nasty. And this is what happened. Ronald Reagan is a Republican, okay? Wants to take the government off the backs of people, make the government smaller, make the IRS one of the biggest, probably the biggest collection agency in the world, more people friendly. Let's not harass people that have to, file tax returns. Let's help them. Okay, that's the Republican mantra. Democrats get in. Democrats like big government. They like compliance. They like rules. They like regulations. They like going after businesses. Yeah, that's right. They say, businesses are the culprit. Businesses don't pay enough taxes. So and it's all politics. It's all politics. It's all fluff. It's all for the public relations angle. The truth is, folks, since I started my career back in, 1984, okay, decades ago, the IRS was broken. The Internal Revenue Service was broken. Why was it broken? Because the politicians that are supposed to give them the money to process tax returns and collect taxes that are owed never allocated enough money to them. So here you have an important segment of the government. I mean, collecting money is pretty important. If the government doesn't collect money, they can't pay benefits, they can't fund the military. A lot of bad things happen. Okay, so it's pretty important. So I was flabbergasted when I found out how politics actually drives the government, which sounds pretty naive, right? But to me, the taxes are taxes. Politics should come out of it, but that's not the truth. Okay, so the IRS from day one is underfunded, understaffed. Okay, and their technology is 20, 30 years behind everybody. So now when I started in 1986, think about this. When I started in 1986, a fax machine was brand new technology. Forget about cell phones. Forget, just sending a fax was like, oh my God, think about how much time and effort this is going to save us. Because before a fax machine, the only option was to mail stuff. Okay, so the technology, as far as from the IRS's technology compared to the real world, they weren't that far behind, because the real world, I mean, a telephone was a big technology. They did have, big companies can, what did they call it? EDI or something. It was like, big companies that had big computer systems could actually electronically do stuff. And that was, oh my God, that was like science fiction. So fast forward to today, where I have more power in this little phone, probably 100 times more power and capable. I can't even measure how much more powerful it is than my first computer. Okay, I mean, I could run my business off my phone. The IRS, on the other hand, their technology is I don't think it's been updated since before I started. Big problem. Think about that. So you would think a government agency that, like, they have billions of dollars to spend on technology, and they must have some kind of like real integrated system. No, they have, I think it's 40 different computer systems all over the country, and they don't all talk to each other. It's extremely inefficient, poorly run. Okay, most people. So I don't want to downplay anybody that works at the IRS, because I have a lot of respect for all of those people. There's a lot of dedicated, talented people that work for the IRS. Unfortunately, they never made it attractive enough to go and work there. In other words, if you're somebody with talent, you want a future. Okay, you have a choice of going and getting a high-paying, cushy business position, or going for the IRS, where what you get with the IRS is you get stability, you get great benefits, you get a pension plan, you get health insurance. So if that's what you're looking for, that's fine. That's not a great angle if you're an employer trying to look for somebody. Now, today, we have a huge labor shortage in the United States. It's a problem, because if you're a business and you want to grow or just operate, you need people. So there's a limited pool of people to do the work. The IRS historically had a problem attracting people. I mean, you could get a job at the IRS and you're starting, below the poverty level, $15 an hour. Okay, that's one of the where you would start if you're working like in an IRS processing center. So that, in a nutshell, you got technology, lack of people, lack of budget, definitely lack of respect from the public and from the government that's supposed to be helping you. It's not a pretty picture. Something had to give. And COVID put, there were cracks, there were fissures, okay, in the system. It was being held together by band-aids. Once COVID hit, everything was exposed. Those cracks became it was like it was a little crack, and then it became like the Grand Canyon. 90% of the calls that went into the IRS don't get answered. It's still bad. It's going to take years for them to reverse that. Okay, so that you can't get through their system now. So for this year, we have had so many extensions and tax returns that were rejected for no apparent reason. Returns that for years we've been filing, they get accepted. Now all of a sudden we do a business return, it's rejected. According to the IRS, the type of return that we file doesn't match their records. Well, for the last 10 years it matched. So what is any accountant's option? The only option is to mail it. Now I got to mail in a lot of returns that normally go through electronically. Okay. And then what's going to happen, because I've done this thousands of times, what's going to happen is my client's going to get a letter saying that they filed late. And then I got to write a letter saying, well, it's reasonable cause. They only filed late because you rejected their extension, or you rejected their tax return. And now you didn't give us a choice. So it's a lot of back and forth. It's unnecessary administration. That's what it is. And it's frustrating for business owners. It's frustrating for anybody that has to file a return. And if they're waiting for a refund, let's say, the government wants you to, the IRS wants you to apply for an account, a personal individual tax account where you could actually see all of your IRS information. If you owe money, who's reporting stuff to you, you can see internally what the IRS is saying, and that's a good thing. Well, they made it impossible to sign up for the account because you have to verify who you are. Okay. That's important because there's a lot of identity theft. People are trying to, there's all kinds of scams going on with the IRS with tax returns. So you got to apply, you got to show them you got to prove who you are. One of the ways is with a photo ID. You upload it, they check it out, all machine driven. And a lot of people, they couldn't recognize the graphic. Okay. So the technology was flawed. It didn't work. In the middle of tax season, they had to shut it down. And I don't know what they did. They found out what the problem was. But I still advise people to get their own individual tax account. So now you have you're one step ahead of the IRS. Now, what does all this have to do with becoming an enrolled agent? It has everything to do with it, and I'll tell you why. So in a nutshell, and I don't know if I'll remember all 5 strategies, but basically they're going to make it easier. The IRS wants to make it easier for people to file. Okay? They're going to upgrade all their technology. They're going to implement cutting-edge technology. Well, it's about time. It's about time. Okay? Anybody could have told you that. They are going to, fairly and efficiently administer the tax laws and get as many people in compliance as possible. Well, hello. Yeah, there's a $500 billion tax gap, according to you. Okay. Number four, I forgot what number four is, but I can come back to it. Number five, we're going to attract the best people. We're going to attract very, high talent, great talent to implement all this stuff. So when I saw that, I said, well, to me, from my business experience, I think they should start trying to hire the people first and then use those people, get those people to fix everything. That's just me. I'm like, how do you fix it unless you have the people? So, it's the government and they're here to help us. That's the thing. So why am I wearing black? It's the death of the old IRS. Another death in my lifetime of the old IRS, the old way of doing things. They're going to actually come into 2023 and start running it like an organization, okay, a cohesive organization. What is this going to do? Okay, what this is going to do is bring a lot of people that have been hiding under the radar, not filing returns, not paying taxes. They're all going to be vetted. You see, again, most of this is all a public relations campaign. Okay, it's all driven by public opinion on the surface. How are they perceived? Okay, so on the outside, they're going to be saying, "Oh yeah, we want to help you. We want to, implement better technology. We want to help you pay your taxes." Okay, and they're going to have all these mechanisms for you to do it. They're going to, have walk-in centers. Oh, come in, we'll help you resolve your problem. Well, it used to be like that. I used to be able to go into an IRS center with the power of attorney, get all the information I needed, and resolve my tax problems. It wasn't that long ago. Well, try to get an appointment now. You can't. Okay, but they're going to change it, and they're going to sort of like kick the computer and make it work. Okay, so they're going to do stuff. Okay, and hopefully the result is you're going to get a lot more people filing returns, a lot more people paying taxes eventually, but they're going to pinpoint who owes how much. So there's no more flying under the radar. So my prediction is that millions and millions of businesses, individuals that have been running businesses, individuals that haven't been filing tax returns are going to have to file. There's going to be a boatload of people coming out of the woodwork saying, I haven't filed in 4 years. I recently, so in the last year, I had one person that said she didn't file for 10 years, which is almost impossible if you have a job, if you have a W-2 job. And shockingly, I got another person who told me he hasn't filed in 20 years. So I have a feeling that their returns were filed. They're just not aware of it. And if they go in and they look at the IRS transcripts, they'll see that the returns were probably filed based on whatever information the IRS has. Okay, what does this have to do with the enrolled agents? So an enrolled agent has a massive amount of power to protect business owners, individuals against the IRS, which is what is going to happen. It's going to be like a war. It's going to be like a bloodbath. Okay, a silent, invisible bloodbath. Because on the surface, they're going to be saying, oh, we're doing all this. You can come in, we'll help you. They're going to answer the phone. But in the background, they're going to be hiring tens of thousands of IRS auditors and revenue agents. Revenue agent is somebody that has a lot of power to collect money. They're the ones that seize assets. They're the ones that sign the documents to attach your wages. Okay. And most of the time, people that can't afford an attorney, can't afford a CPA, can't afford an enrolled agent, they try to defend themselves. Okay. Why can't they afford them? Well, there's not enough. There's not enough tax professionals to handle the 30 million people filing business returns. There's over 250 million tax returns filed every year, and there's just not enough tax preparers to do them all. Most people wind up doing them themselves. Okay. People that have the economic ability to hire an accountant, they're at an unfair advantage. So my strategy is, hey, listen, if we could teach enough people to become enrolled agents, okay, there's a bigger pool of talent. There's more to choose from. When there's more to choose from, there's more competition. And US-based accountants will have no choice but to lower their rates. Okay. Why? If you're in the Philippines right now and you become an enrolled agent, your cost of living in the Philippines is a lot less than it is in the United States. Okay. So an accountant here, a successful accountant here, normal CPA enrolled agent fees are about $250 an hour. Okay. That might sound like a lot in the Philippines. It goes a long way. I know that. In the United States, it's a good amount. I'm not going to lie. You know, $250 an hour. If you're making that on a consistent basis, you can make $150,000, $200,000 a year. Okay, not too bad. You're not rich. Okay, that amount of money in the United States, you're not going to become a multimillionaire unless you do something with the money. What you have is you have a really good paying job. Okay, as a business, as an agency owner, as an accounting firm owner. Okay. Now, if I were in the Philippines where my cost of living is a lot less, well, I could live pretty well on a lot less than $250 an hour. So now if I'm in the Philippines, I actually have an unfair advantage over over all the accountants in the United States. So if you are in the Philippines, Marianne, okay, and or anybody following Marianne, if you're following me, if you're following what I'm doing, this is the opportunity. This is the chance to jump on probably the greatest opportunity that I have ever seen in any industry. I mean, back when Apple Computer started, I mean, yeah, if you knew how to build a computer, you had great opportunities. If you knew about the internet when it was first starting, that was a great opportunity. This is the same sort of opportunity. Okay. And the great thing is you don't even have to wait until you become an enrolled agent to start reaping the benefits. Why is that? Because as soon as you start training to pass the test, you're acquiring all that tax knowledge. Okay. You see, you don't have to be an enrolled agent to be a tax preparer. You don't have to have the actual license to file tax returns for clients. What you need is a PTIN and an EFIN, electronic filing identification number, and a prepare a tax identification number. And you could get that living in a foreign country. Okay. Last year, in March of 2022, I didn't know this. I had no reason to know this. Somebody in one of my classes asked the question, do I have to be a US citizen to become an enrolled agent? And it turns out you don't have to be. And the light bulb went off. And I said, oh my God, I could train people how I've been training people how to do U.S. taxes. I've been training people on how to deal with, small business owners. I've been training them on all the nuts and bolts on how to register a business, how to keep them in compliance. The enrolled agent exam is just another teaching platform. Okay, it can be done. Now, how do I know it can be done? Because right now I know that there's 21 enrolled agents that live in the Philippines. Okay, people that are Philippine citizens that took the enrolled agent exam and passed and are licensed, which means that they have the ability now, with that designation, they could represent clients before the IRS. So if there's somebody that owes the IRS $500,000, that's a big amount. You don't want them negotiating with the IRS themselves. An enrolled agent can block the IRS. You can be the buffer. That's a powerful position to be in. But just gaining the knowledge by studying for the test puts you in a position to start your tax career. Okay, so I urge anybody, if you're listening, to take a look at it. You can, if you want, you can go to my website, www.bedrockbusinessbuilders.com, and there's a link there for our programs, and you can learn all about the enrolled agent program. You don't have to go through us. There's other courses. There's a lot of ways that people could study and pass the enrolled agent exam. For me, my mission is to help as many Philippine citizens take that step. Take that step. If you think you can't do it, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Okay? Get off the fence, because the goal is to make money. Okay? And I'm trying to give you a pathway to doing that. Okay? Long term, it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, it might take you 5 years to actually get your enrolled agent license. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant, because as you're going, you're gaining the knowledge, you can build up your network, start getting clients, and that's how it works. It took me over 5 years to pass the CPA exam, get the experience, and get the license. Okay? From the day I started, when I was 17, August of 1977 is when I said, I'm going to be a CPA, not really knowing what that meant. And I became a CPA, I think it was 10 years later. Okay. I didn't think about, oh my God, it's going to take me so long. How am I going to do this? I went through years of low paying jobs, working my butt off. Okay. Getting the experience. I'm going to save you all of that time. I'm going to save you all of that time and effort, all that pain and suffering. Okay. There's no need for it. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Let's hope that the new and improved IRS is actually going to make things better. Hopefully they'll make it easier for us, for tax preparers, tax professionals, to actually do our jobs and help our clients, run their businesses, pay the least amount of taxes possible by law, run their businesses, file the returns that have to be filed, and not be sidetracked by all of the internal problems that the IRS has. Okay. Like I said, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. If you're one of my students, we have a class in about 12 hours. 13 hours. So get some rest. I'm going to have some great surprises for you. We're going to have some more Starbucks contest, and that's it. Thank you, everyone. Take care.